Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a while since I've done one of these car vlog kind of things. You know, I thought I might as well do it because I haven't done it in a while, and I've got something on my mind that I wanted to talk about. Got the Woolies shopping bag in the back, you know, just how it is, good old Aussie way. But look, today I want to talk about what it's really like to make six figures online, you know, in online businesses. And I'm not talking about this to brag about anything. I'm not going to go into any details or tell you guys, you know, how much I've made online or anything like that, because I don't care about the figures or the numbers or the money that's been made. I'm more interested in the mindset that goes behind it, and, you know, things that you might come up against, you know, you might struggle with, you know, sort of roadblocks that you'll hit. Because if you're aiming to do that, if you're aiming to either work for yourself or just do it as a side hustle, you know, try and get somewhere online and try and build an online business, maybe even make six figures, I want to talk about some of the things that I'd run into and some of the things that you might not be aware of, because it's so important. And a lot of people think that it's an easy way out. It's sort of like, I wouldn't say a cop-out, but it's an easier way to go about things because it's an online business. And I'm here to tell you guys that that's not the case at all. And it's pretty much the same as a real business. The only thing that's different is, you know, if you've got like a brick and mortar business or anything like that, you know, you don't have as much overhead costs, you don't have nowhere near as much startup costs, depending on what kind of business you have online. But, you know, I'm more so talking about e-commerce, things like Amazon, Shopify, you know, all that kind of stuff. So really it's important to realize, first point that I've been talking about after all this is, it's very, very important to think about the fact that that it's exactly the same as a normal business. The same kinds of roadblocks, the same kinds of things that you might find in a normal business, you know, it's the exact same for e-commerce. So things like, you know, making sure that you are taking care of your customers, making sure, you know, and you're always going to get people complain. That's the main thing. You're always going to get people complain about, you know, either a product, or you're going to have, you know, customer service issues, and, you know, like talking about things like Amazon and Shopify, you're going to run into order issues, you're going to run into customer service issues, and that's just stuff that I've learned. And it's the same. It's pretty much the same with e-commerce as it is, because I used to work in retail myself, and I used to think, you know, how did I deal with you know, people yelling at you for no reason? It's not like it happened all the time, but if you work in retail or in catering yourself, you know, in that kind of service area, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know, stuff that's not your fault, you'll get you know, ripped on and yelled at just because you're there. And it's different in the sense that you will get people complain, you will get people that aren't happy with your product or aren't happy with your service, and they'll say something about it, because negative people tend to be more loud, and yeah, they tend to be a lot louder than positive people. But you know, the same kind of rules apply. You are going to get those kinds of people, and there are definitely going to be times where you don't, you know, you think that's not going to work. There were so many times in you know, my Amazon selling journey, or even just my Shopify, which is more recent times, where I've thought, you know, I've thought maybe I'm just no good at picking products, or maybe I'm just no good at you know, at this is what I thought I was. And then I thought to myself, look, if there's so many people out there that can do it, you know, and I've proven to myself that I know how to talk to people, I know how to deal in online business, you know, I've done this kind of thing before, what's stopping me from doing it again? I just kept thinking that to myself, and I thought, look, what's stopping me from becoming successful at this? And I kept that mindset, and it helped me so much, you know. And that's just like anything. That's why I'm kind of, you know, you most likely hear me rambling about this kind of thing, but it's so important to think about the fact that, you know, if you think of your e-commerce business, even if it's a side hustle, you need to take it seriously as you know, an actual business, because it's so just true, the fact that it's so similar to a normal business. You're going to run into so many roadblocks along the way. You're going to run into stuff that doesn't work. You're going to run into stuff that you think is going to work and you think you're going to make money with, and you'll have a set out plan, and then it's not going to go the way that you think. It's always going to happen. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter what kind of online business it is, drop shipping or Amazon or social media marketing or whatever it may be, any other of the online businesses that are trending right now. You'll see a lot of people successful at it, but most of the time you won't see behind the success. You won't see how they got there. You won't see, how long they were trying beforehand. You won't see if they had any help, behind the scenes. You won't see the struggles that they had. Most people don't show that, and that's what I try and show as well. The whole purpose of making this video in itself is because I want to, really give you guys, an actual heads up and a realistic sort of, thinking space into what it's actually like trying to build online, an online business or online businesses, to do 6 figures. And it takes work. It takes a lot of work. And I was just thinking about it today because I've been quite busy, and that's why you probably haven't seen me posting on YouTube as much, and I haven't really been posting too much on socials. I'm usually very, very active on Instagram stories and whatnot. Links are down below for that if you want to check that out as well. But usually very active in that stuff, but I've been actually really busy with actually just other parts of my life, stuff to do with not bad stuff, which is good. Just busy with family, making sure I'm spending time with family, and then catching up with old friends and things like that, because that's part of my life as well. And I've just sort of taken a step back. I've still got the course update, the huge 4.0 update for my Amazon course that I'm working on as well, which you'll see that next week. I had to postpone that, so sorry to the guys that are in the course, to all the students in there. I had to postpone that because I just had too much other stuff going on, but it is coming out. I'm already in the midst of it, filming and whatnot, and then I'll start editing very soon. I'm refilming the whole thing, so that's why it's taking so long. But look, yeah, it's just been a crazy week, and it's just made me really step back and have a second sort of glance at it and think, like, when I started all this online stuff, I didn't think about how much work was going to be involved. I thought about, my goals and what I wanted to do. I just sat there and I thought to myself, okay, this is what I want, and I just took active steps to get there. I didn't know the exact steps that I needed to get there, but I just thought to myself, okay, I'm going to take it one step at a time, and I'm just going to work as hard as I can at it. Because at the time when I was working in retail, when I was at my full-time job, and then I eventually went to part-time, so I was doing half and half, and I wanted to focus more on this stuff. I think I was studying at the time as well. I just thought to myself, my only thought was, okay, I don't want to work for anyone. I don't care how much I'm making. If I'm making $100 a week or $200 a week or whatever it is, if I'm selling my stuff laying around my house on eBay or whatever kind of way I can make that money, as long as I don't have to work for anyone, that's my goal. And that's all that was on my mind, and that I took those active steps to get there, and I'm just still working at it. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and it's not like I'm some millionaire dude or anything like that. I'm still just a guy who's just trying to grow his online businesses and show you guys the processes on how I do it, and what I'm overcoming. And that's why I do videos like this, because it's all well and good to post videos about how much money I made online, and you guys can do this too, and try and be positive about it, because I'm quite a positive guy, and I like to show you guys what is out there, the opportunities that are out there. But I also am realistic enough to show you the sides that most people don't talk about, like struggles and downsides of it. And it's not to steer you guys away from it, but it's to basically give you guys some realistic the realistic sort of side of it, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows and all that. It's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of uncertainty at times, and it's times where you might feel down about it. There's been more than a handful of times where I'll have a week or so where I'm just not as motivated, and then I have to re-motivate myself, especially working for yourself. The one downside to not having a boss is you need to motivate yourself, and that's why you need to make sure you love what you do. And that's another roadblock that I can mention as well. If you want to work for yourself and you want to make this a full-time thing, whatever you want to do in e-commerce, if you want to make it a full-time gig, you really need to have a set schedule, and you really need to motivate yourself. You can't just, say to yourself, okay, I'm going to work a little bit here, I'll work a little bit there, and then it'll be fine. You need to be strict on it, because if you don't have a set out plan or a set out goal as to what you want, you're not going to be motivated to work towards anything. So that's my sort of thoughts on running your own e-commerce business or making 6 figures online. Is you're going to face the same struggles, and the biggest struggles that I've seen are just unforeseen things that you never really thought about when you first started. When you first start online business, you're sort of thinking to yourself, okay, I might not make how much I want at the start, but I'll get there eventually. But then other stuff comes up, like things like, it could be as simple as if you're working with a supplier selling on Amazon, or working with a supplier for Shopify, you might have all of this stuff set up, and then something happens to your supplier and you can't supply that product anymore. You have to go to another supplier, or your supplier gives you some faulty items and then you can't trust that supplier anymore. Or really simple stuff like, okay, you're doing really well, and then all of a sudden something happens to your listing on Amazon, and Amazon suppresses your listing, and then you stop getting sales, and you got to figure out what's going on. It's just little stuff like that might get you down at the time, but you just have to remember that you're going to come up, stuff like that is always going to come up. It doesn't matter what it is. Stuff like this has happened to people's Shopify before, and I guarantee it's happened to more people than you think. There's people that are doing 50K a month on Shopify through their Facebook ads, trying to grow as much income as they can from whatever products they're selling, and Facebook just goes and sees something wrong with their ad, shuts down their whole Facebook account. Bang, that's gone. Something that they could be making 10K in profit on, or 5 to 10K profit on a month, it's just gone. And that's stuff that they need to be careful of. Pretty much what I'm going to end it on today, guys. Like I said, growing online businesses, or an online source of income to 6 figures is really not as easy as it seems. And you might see all these videos and all this stuff online. I try not to be too spammy and too clickbaity with my videos and with my titles, because that's not the feel that I want to give off. The feel that I want to give off in my videos is being realistic, in the sense that I know that it's hard, but also showing you guys that it can be done, because I want to give you guys a motivation to go out there and actually do it. That's the main thing. But I also want to give you guys that sense, or that feeling that if something does happen, you can push through it. I can't tell you guys the amount of times that I've had someone, say something to me about my business, especially when you're first starting. It's the hardest part when you're first starting. When I started my YouTube, I had people saying, you shouldn't do YouTube, you shouldn't post about what you're posting about. You need to make sure that you've done something and be credible for it. And my whole goal was to show you guys along the way, and I'm still doing that, still going to do that. And there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people that are going to, they say that they're looking out for you, and that they're just making sure that you're doing the right thing. But really, really deep down, it's because they know that it might be something, it might become something, and you need to always have that thought in your mind that it's going to be something big, and you can make it into what you want to make it. So that's all I'm going to say about this today, guys. My final statement for making 6 figures online is work hard. I know it's very cliche, but work hard. Make sure to overcome any roadblocks. If you are down on motivation, reevaluate what you want to do and get back into it and start growing again. Start making sure that you have goals. Make sure to solidify your goals. Whether I didn't end up working for myself, whether I do, whether I, start a big corporation, whether I work from home, whatever it is, there's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be people that aren't happy with what you're doing. You're going to have people complain, all that kind of thing. You just use them as stepping stones, and you use them as more reasons. Make sure to flip your perspective on it, and instead of making it reasons to stop what you're doing, make it reasons to keep going. You need to say, okay, if I'm getting people complain at me, that means that there's interest. That means that there's something I need to fix. That means that there's potential in it. You know, it's having someone complain about your product or your service is better to me than having people not say anything at all. You know, at least you're getting feedback for it. At least you're getting something to help you move in the right direction. So that's my ending statement on that, guys. So if you do want to make 6 figures online, or if you do want to start working for yourself, you know, from home, or, you know, do that thing where you work from anywhere, you know, whatever your goals are, want to make an online income, that's pretty much my advice, you know, because I've been doing this for coming on almost 2 years now, having online business and, you know, working for myself. And there's stuff that I've learned along the way. I absolutely love it. And, you know, even if I love it, there's still going to be times where I need to push myself to get that extra bit of motivation, because I can tell you guys, it's not always easy. So that's my ending statement on that anyway, guys. If you have any more questions or you like videos like this, give this video a like. I would very much appreciate it. And sub to the channel. I've got heaps of stuff on e-commerce here in Australia, you know, Amazon, Shopify, all that good stuff. But apart from that, guys, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'll see you guys very soon.